Yeah, yeah. Fresh out the cell with a plan and a boo. Ain't clip beeping, but my heart's beating for you. Let's go. Met her on a prison pen pal site. She said you cute even in that orange light. Now I'm home and I'm free, kinda on probation. She picked me up in a Prius, pure elation. Got a teardrop tat and a heart full of dreams. She brought cupcakes and some government cheese. I said, girl, you a snack, maybe even a feast. She said, you just hungry cause you live with the beast. Love after lockup, wild and free. Got no keys, but she got the key. From yard time to FaceTime, look at us glow. From prison phone calls to reality show. Love after lockup, we don't play. Tinder got nothing on JPay. I did my time, now I'm doing hers. Doing laundry and love, both in spurts.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Love After Lockup, Locked Down, where we are covering Season 1, Episode 4. As always, you can find us in our Facebook group at Love After Lockup, Locked Down, or on Instagram at LALU, Locked Down. I am Jennifer.
I'm Lisa.
And this week we are covering Season 1, Episode 4.
It's Broken Promises, which is, it just says it all.
I feel like that could be the name of the entire show.
Oh, absolutely. I forgot to tell you about a prison type show I watched on Netflix. It was a very short one episode thing, and it was about prisoners who are in jail for life. Well, prison, I said jail and prison are different. In prison for life. And so they have to live as normal of an existence as they can. So they work 8-hour days in the prison making quilts for children in foster care or in orphanages. And these quilts are awesome and they're very intricate and they take forever to make. But it's pretty cool. I don't remember what it's called, but then again, you said you don't have Netflix, but I highly recommend it, and I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah, I had something on earlier today. I want to say it might have been either Prison Wives or Prison Brides, and it was on Hulu, and it was women across the world. They weren't in the United States marrying prisoners. It seemed more realistic than Love After Lockup, but I didn't watch too much of it. It ended up being background noise while I worked on this.
So it was people from abroad marrying people in prisons in the US?
From what I
Or
saw, yeah. Mm-hmm.
oh, that's pretty cool. I have to check that out.
Like Australia and Germany. We start off this episode with Alla and James, and at this point, she has been out of prison for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So it starts out with her in the shower, and he said he made her an appointment with a modeling agency, and she's upset. And
Right.
she's giving him a hard time, and his reasoning is that she needs to meet requirements in order to transfer her probation to where he lives so that they can live together.
But he made the appointment without asking. He just
Yeah.
made the appointment and told her to show up there.
And I totally agree with her that she should probably stay far away from what caused her to start using heroin in the first place, which she clearly states was modeling is what exposed her to it.
I don't understand if it's a matter of just having a job, why she can't work at the grocery store or Walmart. She could work literally anywhere. And if she's not the one going, I'm not going to work there, or acting like she's too good to work at these places, which is not the case at all. She's just saying, hey, I don't want to model, not, hey, I don't want to get a job.
Well, yeah, and I was thinking that myself too, and I'm thinking she could easily go to any clothing store and they'd be like, "Yeah, you're hired," right?
Right.
But I did kind of catch that it was to me because he mentioned that she had a $6 million contract.
6 figure.
Oh, I thought he said $6 million
No,
contract.
then she
Oh, six
definitely would have
figure.
had.
Even still, but that's so in my mind, he's going finances, and that's a lot of money, and she needs to make the money she's capable of, and I just don't want her working at the Gap.
That's what
you
I
know?
wondered, if it was more of a financial issue. He just wants that money that she is capable of bringing in.
Yeah, that was a little sus to me. I didn't like that so much.
I shouldn't say she was capable of bringing in, because really she's not in a place mentally to be handling that kind of situation, and she knows that, and there's a lot to be said for that. She doesn't want a model.
Yeah, it would probably be nice and calming and easier for her in her recovery for her to do a job that is, like something really basic
Right.
and something that doesn't cause you to travel a lot or be exposed to things she doesn't want to be exposed to.
She tells him flat out, "I'm not going." And then he just comes in, goes in on her like, "Oh, you've got to go because you have to have a job, because you have to do this." And it seems like, at least it's edited to look like, just immediately she goes, "Okay, I'll do it for you."
It's kind of oh, it was a little bit demeaning to me outside looking in that it's like, hey, all you can do for a living is to stand there and look pretty. You don't think that this is the woman you're going to marry? You don't think she's capable of doing something else? How about offering for her to maybe go and get a degree and work part time? Because it seems to me like he makes good money because what was his friend's name? Chris. In the
Yes.
last episode, he was like, you're going to lose everything. So clearly, this guy's not struggling in life.
It's it's a mess. I don't know if he's just naive, or he just wants what he wants and he's blinded by that. I want a beautiful woman who works as a model, makes good money. Is that what you're concerned about? Because that's not going to negate her addiction.
Yeah, but you got it right there because we were talking about in the beginning how we think what made him fall for her and fall for her so hard is like he gets to say he's dating a model
Right.
and that this is points to that.
Right. I agree. Up next, we visit Garrett and Johnna, and he has been out for 27 days at this point, and we find him in a strip club.
Yeah. He said he's gonna cut loose and Jonna needs to stop texting his phone. And of course she's texting his phone. And I guarantee you she texted him all night long.
Well, I mean, staying out all night is, it's not even a questionable behavior. You just don't do that, you know?
Uh-huh.
Or you call, or you do something. If you're not coming home, there needs to be some communication.
Well, she's tracking him, so she knew where he was. But yeah, this is inexcusable. He says, he didn't think about calling her or answering her texts or letting her know, giving her any updates because he was drunk. So that's not a good excuse.
Right. And he stays out the entire night, and he just wakes up in his car.
Mhm.
And you
Just goes
kind
to
of,
work.
yeah, he's at work when he wakes up, and you're thinking, did you drive drunk? Like, you said you didn't go home because you were drinking, but did you drive to work drunk?
I would I'm like to myself, does he work at one of those places where it turns into a strip club? Like at or like is he what kind of because that's a bar he works at, bar restaurant. Is it connected? Are they owned by
It
the
didn't
same
look
owner?
like it. Yeah, I don't
No.
know. It didn't look like it.
Are they in the same parking lot? This is the only time thus far that we've seen that she's warranted in being mad.
Right. And he does feel bad. He said, like, he shouldn't have done it. He took it too far. That, you know, what do they say? It's easier to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. So he just did it, and then he's
That's a
like,
good
"Yeah, I'll
one.
deal with the consequences when they come."
Yeah. He's like, I'll apologize to the warden when I get home.
Right?
He talks to is the was the bartender's name Barb? Was it Barb?
Could have been. I didn't write it down.
Oh, I missed it and I didn't want to go back, so I just wrote Barb. So he's talking to Barb, the bartender, and he says he's nervous.
He
And
should be nervous.
yeah, it's like it's like Barb's acting like maybe like a mom figure to him. I gathered.
Yeah, it seems like it. And she tells him he's too old to be acting like this, which he is. But if you're not a child, you're too old to be acting like that.
Well, if you weren't in jail for your entire beginning of your adulthood, then yeah. But again, he he probably needs to get out and do these things, but also he put himself in a relationship, and when you're in a relationship, you don't go to a strip club until 7 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Hmm.
Next up, we meet a new couple, Angela, who is 45, and Tony, who is 32. And from the second Angela came on the screen, I instantly knew this was going to be wonderful.
Well, when they showed his picture, I wrote down, uh,
I don't even know what that means.
I was like, this is catfishing. I was like, this is Scott and Lizzie all over again.
So, do you think the catfishing is that he doesn't look like that he doesn't actually want her, or something else?
I don't know because I actually didn't think about that. I didn't think about that. I at this point, my mind was going, this is yet another person who is getting duped by a prisoner who's younger, she's older. The fact that it says she's 46, even my husband was like, "What?" He goes, 46? He's like, "There's no way." I saw her hands, even if she smoked every day all day long since she was 12, your hands wouldn't look like that. They looked like the hands of a 60-year-old woman.
I can't say how old somebody is. I would believe that she could be 40. I have 45, but I mean, do I think that the show has never lied about somebody's age? No. I am relatively confident that there are some that are not listed properly. Is she one of those? I don't know. I would believe she was 50. But I
Yeah.
don't think it's impossible for her to be 45 if
Um,
she's had a hard-lived life.
I don't know. I feel like they lie so that they can catch these younger people. And then the show just kind of has to go with it and be like, yeah, because that's the age that they told the person they were talking to. And they just display them as that.
Didn't she kind of catfish him with the pictures she sent him?
She did. She did. It was very filtered, although it didn't look that great.
It didn't. It looked like her though.
It looked like her, but it looked like her if she were under uh if she had lots of cotton on her face and like a halo. It was like very fluffy and bright, soft.
Yeah, it was. I was a little surprised to find out that Angela is a mental health therapist.
I missed that. I missed that. That's shocking to me, knowing what we're dealing with here.
And she kind of hinted around, at least in my impression, was that prisoners are who she likes to help.
Quote unquote help.
Help. And we get to meet her friend Tommy, who he is confused.
Hmm.
Why would you do this? It seems like there's always a friend to go, what is wrong with you?
This is another Shar situation because I'm like, what about this guy? Like
Yeah.
what about this guy? He seems, and now we don't know their history, but he seems like he likes her, like
Hmm.
he's got that vibe, like he cares about her. He likes her. He's worried about her.
Yeah, definitely.
She said, or she's been sending him $200 a month for clothes and shoes and other stuff.
Which, considering how much some people have sent their prisoners, even Scott and Lizzie, $200 a month is sort of tame for what some of these people are laying down.
Remember, they've never met. They have never physically met. And after 3 months, he asked her to marry him without ever meeting her in person. And on February 14th was when he proposed in a handwritten card.
Right. And he's in for drug possession and possession of a firearm.
Hmm.
They met on a pen pal website. I feel like most of these people did. I'm not sure, they don't all mention where they met.
her friend was so concerned about her that he literally says, "Do you have GPS on your phone?" Because he's like concerned that if she goes, meets him, and then leaves with him, that she may not come back. No one will be able to locate her.
And he tells her that he's an MMA fighter.
Right.
So that's I have that they've known each other a year, but he proposed 3 weeks later.
3 weeks?
That's
I
what
thought it
I
was
have.
3 months.
Now I kinda
That's
wanna
even
go.
worse.
It is worse.
Mm. The MMA fighter thing, that would be so easy to look up. That is
Right,
something that would be so easy to fact check. It's like, why are you not? And I'm not even sure if she fact checked and couldn't find it, if she would even believe it.
right, right. And so they're engaged to be married. He proposes on her Valentine's Day card, and they're supposed to be married on Valentine's Day of the following year. And
Romantic.
yeah, and like you said, Tommy, he's letting her know. He's not holding back anything. I don't feel like, this is a bad idea, Angela.
But if you notice him and Shar, the way that they're talking to their friends and telling them this is a bad idea is a normal way you tell someone that it's a bad idea. They're not doing it in the way we've seen other people's friends do this.
Right.
They're not being rude or nasty or demeaning or putting anyone down. They're just like, I don't know. I don't feel like this is okay.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right.
Mhm.
He says that she gets herself into complicated situations. And I could see that. I could see how if you make a decision like this, what other decisions are you going to make?
Does that make you wonder what else she may have gotten herself into in the past for him to make that statement?
I'd like to hear Tommy's stories. Next up, we are back to James and Allah, and he shows up. It opens up with him showing up at the modeling agency. Which, first of all, why are you there? But he shows up at 3 o'clock, an hour after her appointment is supposed to start, and he says he's going to meet her there. She's not there.
Immediately, if I were this employer, I would be like, this is weird. And even if I had met with her and hired her at this point, I would rethink it because that's weird.
It's so weird. Like, did you think you were gonna get the job for her by going in and talking to the lady? That's what it seemed like. It seemed like he thought he could just talk this woman into hiring her. He just seems to be completely withdrawn from reality and what is actually going on.
Her appointment was at 2. He shows up at 3. They tell him that she's not there. When he does go in the office and talk to the manager, she says, "We're not going to put talent in our database that is going to make us look bad
Right.
because she was supposed to be here an hour ago, and she's not here." But also, I'm like, I wouldn't hire this girl at this point
Right.
because why is the boyfriend here? This is weird.
Then you have to wonder, is he gonna be one of those boyfriends that goes to shoots and stands there and makes things awkward and, like, makes comments and tries to direct the whole shoot?
I didn't even think about that. Creepy would that be? Him standing there with his surprised look on his face. Look at my girlfriend. Isn't she beautiful? She's a model.
She's a model, I love her. She makes a lot of money, and I love her.
My friend thinks she's great because she's a model.
He says that he's bothered that she didn't show up, which was an odd word to use, I thought, like, you seem a whole lot more than bothered.
Oh, this is so inexcusable. I was like, I was disappointed in him and disgusted all at the same time. And this poor girl, that's just the amount of stress that she did not need at that point.
Right.
Absolutely did not need that at all.
She tells him that he calls her and she tells him that she's sick, and that's why she didn't go. Instead of just
Right.
being like, "You're a jerk, and that's why I didn't go."
She sounded in distress though on the phone, and she's sick, she's gonna puke, and I thought he said she's on the freeway or something.
May have. I don't know. I didn't catch that part.
And at that point, I wasn't sure if what you said, where she was using that as the excuse, or if she had used
Hmm.
and then she was withdrawing.
Could be already. You think? I guess she had all
Well, it
day. I
doesn't
don't
take
know.
long.
Yeah.
It depends on what she used, because if she used so here, from what I understand, heroin lasts a lot longer than say meth or crack
Oh,
does.
okay.
So she could have used something that doesn't take long for you to get sick.
I hadn't even considered that. I had
Hmm.
considered that she was using, but not that she was coming down off of it. Next, we visit Mary and Dominic briefly when they are going to pick him up, and her mom and her stepdad go with her, which she also made it sound like they go with her on all of her visits to see him.
Which is interesting. This one, I have a lot to say about this one. You know, the he says he compliments her, and he makes her feel pretty, and again another person that says he was the best sex of my life. You know, she was saying how the guards are very grumpy and they were making them stay in the car, and she's feeling extremely nervous, and that the prison guards basically make you feel like crap, like basically like you're a prisoner or you're bad too. Um at least here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think people don't remember that they're dealing with prison. Like, this is to be punished. They don't want you to want to come back. They don't want your family to want you to come back. It's
Mhm.
all about deterring you from ever doing whatever it was that landed you there in the first place. So if they have to make you wait 11 hours, if they want to, they will. They can do whatever they want, more or less.
Yeah, she's not like visiting like Disney World, like welcome to the most magical place on earth.
Yeah, it's they don't care
Here's your
what you
person
want.
back.
They don't care what you want at all. This is our first Canadian couple. He is in Canadian corrections.
Yeah. And that was where we got the conjugal thing screwed up, because we don't know what the rule difference is in Canada versus the United States.
Yeah, we'd have to
Hmm.
look into that. Or if anybody knows, you can email us at LALU lockeddown@gmail.com. Next, we visit Garrett and Johnna, and he is 28 days post release at this point. And he immediately repeats that he regrets staying out all night.
Yeah, he's sitting on the couch all stressed out, and Jonna walks in and just says, "What's up?"
I would not be that calm.
I, oh, I was shocked she was, but I feel like she was also breathing fire in her mind.
Oh, yeah.
She says she feels like he's not sorry, and I don't think he is. I think he was.
I don't think he was sorry. He was sorry that he had to deal with her, but he was not sorry
Yeah,
that he stayed out all night.
you got it. He was just sorry he's now feeling the wrath of Jonna.
Right. But she wasn't even mad. Like, she seemed more mad that he didn't get drunk with her for the first time than she did that he stayed out all night. So I don't understand, like, the things she chooses to get mad about. Like, I'm sure she was mad about him staying out all night, but even more so about him not getting drunk with her first.
Well, so he did a lot of gaslighting while they were in prison, because he just did. I mean, he gave her all these promises and she's repeating them. Oh, when I get out, you're going to be the first one I go see the Marvel movie with. You're going to be the first one I go to eat dinner with. You're going to be the first one I watch a movie with. You're going to be, you know what I mean? It's like it was all those promises, because there was probably nothing else to freaking talk about, and he needed to impress her, and he needed to be sweet and kind and loving, and this is probably what he did. He gaslit her, saying we were going to do all this stuff together, and in her mind it's like, well, he's not keeping his promise. He said I was going to be the first everything when I got out, or when he got out, and that's what we're seeing.
I can understand why she would be upset, but don't stay out all night. Like that way that takes over all of my concern over who you got drunk with.
Still, why did he go out yet again without her? I don't understand this.
Cuz they don't like each other.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think that's what it boils down to more or less.
He says you guys went looking for PUSSY too. She's throwing out stuff that she doesn't even know
No.
because just being that toxic girlfriend.
Well, she did know he was at the a strip club because she traces him or tracks him.
So do you think he didn't tell her that's where he was going? Because now he knows she tracks him at this point. So she would have known he was at a strip club. I believe she knew he was going to a strip club.
I don't know. She doesn't they don't make any sense to me.
No. But that doesn't come up of her as like the issue. It's not the issue. She never says it's because you went to a strip club.
Right.
That's not and that statement could have meant that he was looking for girls at the like I don't know. She says I will end this and you will lose me. I don't think that's a threat to him because I don't think he cares.
I don't think he cares either. She also says there's nowhere you need to be at 4 a.m. except in bed. Now I can agree with that. Of course, I
Yeah.
agree with that. There's nowhere at 9 p.m. you need to be except in bed, but I'm old,
Sometimes
so
7 or 8. Yeah, 6. And he says "F you" to her, which is not excusable in any way ever, ever, ever for any close relationship. It's just not okay. It's so abusive.
and that was a short trip with them. Next, we're back to Tony and Angela, and it is Tony's release date. She's showing off
Oh.
all of the things he sent her cards, letters, etc. I feel like she knew to some degree, or not that she knew, that she feels to some degree that he is trying to take advantage of her. Like, she feels like she knows this, but she's in denial. Like, that's how it feels to me, the way she talks.
Mhm. She's picking him up and she's taking him to a halfway house. Again, all these things she could have verified. She could have verified a lot of this stuff. It's not that hard. She even brought him clothes that he could take with him for job interviews because he's going to need to find a job, which is part of his agreement for being released.
Right. He tells her she's his favorite flower in the garden. And I don't know exactly what this means, but usually gardens have many flowers. So does that mean like you're in your own garden with many flowers and that's just your favorite?
At this point, this guy's sounding like he's old and slow. That's what I got from this. He's a 60-year-old man with special needs or something.
I
An
don't know.
MMA fighter.
People make up some weird lies. Have you ever thought about that?
I don't know. That was just kind of a weird thing for someone as young as he's supposed to be to say. I don't know. And the hand drawn cards and stuff. It's like,
They may not
oh,
have
Lord.
access to like actual cards.
It's still weird. I don't care.
She asks him to get dress clothes. So he asks her to get him dress clothes so that he can do interviews and things like that, which she does.
Hmm.
And she's at the bus station waiting on him, and you don't know how much time has elapsed since when he's supposed to be there, but she just starts walking around talking to people, be like, "Hey, are you from the prison? Are you from the prison? Which prison did you come from?" And I was like, this seems dangerous. Like, even if you know Tony, you don't know these random people who just got out of prison. And then she's telling him the whole story. Oh, well, he was supposed to get out, but blah blah blah. Girl, watch
And,
yourself.
and she just expects these guys to know this particular Tony. I'm sure they knew. I don't know if she said his last name, but they're probably like they only knew him as Tony. They didn't know his last name.
Everybody in prison knows each other.
Yeah, and there's probably like 50 Tonys in prison.
Yeah, she mentioned to
Little
one of
Tony, little Tony.
the she mentioned to one of the guys that Tony had been in the hole for 3 weeks, so she hadn't been able to talk to him. So she hasn't
Come
talked to him
on.
in 3 weeks, and then she just shows up at the bus stop. Like, that is a level of dedication that I don't know.
Also, if you're in the hole, that means you've done something wrong. So why would you be released if you just had an offense?
That's what I thought too. Like, I thought you had to behave to get out.
It didn't. This did not add up. It just didn't. This is the biggest mess. So thus far, I can't wait to see what happens with this one
She had a
going
good,
forward for sure.
definitely, and she had a good idea that he was using her. I think that
Mhm.
that wasn't out of, I think that was something that she was definitely considering. You know what I mean? It wasn't like she was going to be shocked if he came home and used her.
Well, I mean, she knows what they're capable of because this is who she treats. She treats convicts for mental
Yeah.
health, right? So, she says Tony isn't showing up. Maybe he's lying to me. Uh,
Yeah.
so far, he has.
He's yeah, he's not there.
Hmm.
Next we're going to Lamar and Andrea, and we are at, so Lamar is out at this point, and he has 30 days before he can leave California. So
Oh, this.
they
I'm
decide,
so disgusted by her in this. So disgusted.
oh, it, yeah, I would not be proud of this behavior. I would, they go to a family gathering of Lamar's family, and his brothers are there. I think his aunt's there, cousin maybe. There might have been a sister. I don't recall everybody who was there.
It was, I don't, yeah, brother, cousin, and sister. So he hasn't seen his daughter since she was 4 or 5. You know, Andrea makes it very clear, I guess, and has before this even happened, that he wants to see her daughter, but no baby mamas. She says something weird. Is your family mostly Bloods or mostly Crips? Which is a weird freaking question, and he goes both.
It's so incredibly disrespectful in my mind to ask somebody that question. Apparently it was fine. He didn't seem to care, but I was just like, "Are you seriously asking this?"
I was wondering if she was joking and he just answered it because, I mean, just because you were a gangbanger doesn't mean your family was too. She just assumes that the whole family is gangbanging. It was weird.
It was weird. And he's only been out 2 days at this point. Like, this is his second day out. And he's at
He
this
feels,
party being like his old chipper self. You know what I mean? Friendly Lamar.
yeah, he said he feels like a king and he's got nowhere else to go but up, which is true at this point. And that's a great way to look at it.
Right, right.
He's got the world at his fingertips. If he wants to go back up, he absolutely can. And it sounds like he's got a good family. Like he's got a good supportive family.
Mhm.
And he's not alone. Even without Andrea, he's not alone. He has people.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely. So which is just more indication that he wants to be with Andrea. He wants to be with her because he doesn't have to. It's not his only option. A- I think a lot of the people we see, they come out, not the people we're talking about now necessarily, but just in general from prison, they need a place to go. And
mhm.
some of them will find their mark to get that place to go. But he has options. He doesn't need her.
Yeah, I didn't know this up until this point. I didn't realize that, like, you're exactly right, that he must really like her, and I don't know so much after this, but for now.
She says Mormons don't drink, and hopefully he won't drink once he comes to Utah. Again, I don't think he ever made any commitment to becoming Mormon that they have discussed.
Not that I heard. Not that I heard. And I'm gonna say that that probably isn't something he's interested in. It
No.
doesn't say what religion he is, but he never once says or committed to her at all for any of that. I never heard any of that.
Mm-mm. And then his daughter calls and she's like, "Hey, I actually am able to come tonight. So me and mom are going to swing by and see you." And Andrea hears this. and freaks out, makes up a story about somebody needing something, and leaves. She just leaves.
This was the most selfish, self-serving thing anyone could ever do. This man has not seen his daughter or the woman who raised his daughter for him while he was in jail.
Right.
She's expecting him to have zero respect for her when she literally raised his child because he went to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And he's seeing his daughter for the first time and the woman that he needs to freaking thank. I'm sorry. This is
Yeah, raising
disgusting.
kids isn't easy.
No. And honestly, when we go get a little bit further into the episode, I'm pretty impressed with Lamar. I got to tell you.
I think Lamar's a good dude.
Hmm. So we have that short clip that comes in before like between commercial to commercial, where he's with his fam bam click meeting his brother at the recording studio. This was a little shocking. I didn't know he was a recording artist because Andrea never said a thing about it.
He's
And
pretty
he's
good.
dropping beat. Yeah, he was pretty good. And he's dropping beats and he's popping champagne because he's Mormon. He's a Mormon rapper. There's no way he didn't tell her that. There's no way he didn't
That
tell
he
her that.
was,
I want a rapper.
yeah. No, you're right. She knew. I don't know why she didn't say anything.
I don't know.
She says, like, when she runs off, that she doesn't know if she wants to marry him or not. Because his daughter's mother said she was going to come to a restaurant for 30 seconds.
Now, what the daughter's mother says, I lived this. I can completely and totally understand this. She says, "Why would I put my daughter in the hands of a woman that doesn't want to meet? I'm
Right.
going to entrust this woman to be around my daughter and she doesn't want to meet me." That's a valid point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that the daughter is like 20.
I don't think so. Do you think she looked 20?
He's been in prison for 18 years.
But she was 5 when he went into prison.
Well, then she would be over 20.
No. Well, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
she would be
right.
23. So, I mean, she's not a child. So the mother is not necessarily entrusting a woman to take care of her. The woman is a grown woman. His daughter's a grown woman.
Okay. Well, still, yeah, I guess, but still, I mean, it makes sense still a little bit. I mean, she'd want to know the woman who's going to be in her life as her stepmom. Let's
Right.
put it that way. If they're getting married, that's her stepmom, right?
I I don't see a problem with meeting her, and she's right that she shouldn't have a problem with meeting her. Somebody's not just bad because they had a baby with your man. And it was 20 years ago, whatever, however many years ago.
Yeah, it's not like he was like 20 years ago, he's like, "Oh, I better watch my step because I'm gonna be with this woman, Andrea, someday, and she's not gonna be happy about this."
She's not gonna like
He had a
this.
whole life. He had a whole life before prison, and you can't just have him erase his life. I swear to you that she would be totally happy if he had no one in his life but her. I'm not even sure she was impressed by or wanting to be with his family at all if she didn't act like it.
I totally think that she would be thrilled if there was nobody there but Lamar. He had no family, no friends, no connections whatsoever.
Yeah, it's another semi Johnna and Garrett situation where she wants to be his end all be all. She's jealous for no good reason. I don't agree with the fact that you're just jealous because you're jealous and you're just jealous by nature and that's just how you're going to be in a relationship. I don't agree with that. I don't like it because he has not done a thing to you behind your back, nothing at all. to warrant this kind of behavior, or for you to be already from day one suspicious of him, thinking he's going to cheat on you, not wanting him to be around any other woman. He's not done anything to you. You can't just be like, hey, you've done nothing to me. I'm not going to give you a chance to prove to me that you're going to be dedicated to me. I'm just going to be suspicious about you day one, and I'm going to think that any woman that talks to you, you're going to cheat on me with her. That's the picture of insecurity is what Andrea is.
But it's a terrible way to live. It's a terrible way to have to go through every day, and everyone you meet you think is going to interfere in your relationship. That seems very stressful. His daughter's name is Shantae, and Shantae talks about how she feels like her life is complete now. Now that Lamar is back, she has her dad, and she feels like her life is complete. And Lamar says, "Hey, I needed Andrea to be here, to be with me when I saw my daughter, to be with me and experience this." But she's off running around because she made up a story. And she's upset. She feels like she was disrespected when she was the one who was being disrespectful.
She was. She wasn't. And everyone around him should have felt the same way. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
She makes up a story about someone hurt their foot and she had to go. I don't remember what she said. Um, and then she calls later and says she's lost. And even he didn't really fall for that, because he's like, wait a minute. She's not really lost. What she's doing here is she's saying she's lost because
Mm-hmm.
she wants him to leave the party to go find her.
Yep. Which he does. He didn't have to, but he does.
Yeah. I don't know.
He gets in a car with his brother and they go and they find her. It's it was so obvious what was happening. And he didn't call her out to her face.
It was just the whole thing was just disgusting to me, and I felt really bad for him. I really did. And at that point, he was definitely questioning his choices for sure. I
Absolutely.
mean, definitely. Hmm.
Next up, Dominic and Mary. And we are still waiting for Dominic to be released, and Mary is worried that he won't be released. I think everybody who goes to pick up their significant other from prison probably feels like they're never going to be released or there's going to be some kind of problem.
Oh yeah, I can absolutely see that being a huge stress point, not knowing whether they're actually going to be walking out and being free. It's got to be a terrible, terrible feeling. Um, and he does get released. And what's weird to me, and you brought it up in the beginning, is that so the mom and dad are hugging him together with her, and
Yeah,
they're like all, and they've barely known him because they were only together for 30 days.
30 days, but they have been going with her to visit him.
So they already, it seems they view him as their future son in law.
Yeah, I would
Or
say
and we
so.
never really yeah, we never really did figure out if they were actually married or not, but and they're just doing this circle hug thing. But he's acting weird. He is really acting weird.
He is very suspicious and he does say he's thrilled to be out, but he's acting weird.
Well, what he says is he's happy, but he's not happy that he has to go to a halfway house for 6 months. He said it's not as bad as prison, but he's not free. And it's not the same as being free. So it might be because he's very stressed out about that and he can't fully feel excited and happy. But I don't know.
It could be. I mean, but he doesn't kiss her when she leans in to kiss him and he doesn't kiss her, which immediately would make me feel a little questioning.
Yeah, that it's so weird. You haven't been able to touch or kiss your significant other in that long, and that's not the first thing you want to do. It's weird.
He doesn't even seem excited to see her, really. Like I don't get the sense that he's all that interested in her.
No, and she even says, he's like, does he even like me?
Right. Yeah. And he's going to be in the halfway house for 6 months. So it's hard to say what will change over the course of those 6 months.
And basically, what the purpose of the halfway house is so that he can show that he can be in society and act like a normal person before
Right.
he can fully live a free life.
Yeah. And she brings up the wedding, but he says he can't even think about a wedding at this point, which I think
I
is
know.
extremely fair. You know what I mean? Some people walk out of prison and they get interviewed, and you can tell that they were damaged there. Like some went and spent time, and some went and did time.
But this whole time they've been talking, and there's no way that on all of a sudden, as he's getting released, all of a sudden he's a totally different person. And she knew none of how he was feeling. This seems like a total surprise to her the way that he's acting. So I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, I agree with that. It does seem like she doesn't expect it, but I feel like there's more to the story. You know what I mean? There's something we don't
Yeah,
know yet.
yep, absolutely. I did write, and this wasn't nice because I really feel sorry for her and sad. But she walks away with those giant shoes and looks very uncomfortable in that outfit and those shoes.
I did notice
I'm
the
like,
shoes when she
what are
was
you
walking
doing?
away. I was like, I felt bad for her. I was like, but mostly I was just thinking I couldn't walk in those.
Me too, but I feel bad because she was just like it took her a while to look like that, and she put on all her best everything. Poor thing.
Yeah, she's a pretty lady.
Yeah.
So next up, Lamar and Andrea, and he finds her, and she starts yelling at him about his baby mama immediately.
She says, "Did you have fun with your ex?" She's so disgusting. I hate her. I'm sorry. Oh, she says, "Why doesn't X come to a homecoming party?" Because it's the mother of his damn child who raised her.
Because they were together, because she felt like it, because he wanted her to. I mean, the list is endless, and any of those are appropriate. They have a child together. He was not inappropriate in any way with her, with the baby mama.
No. And they seem to have respect for each other, and they didn't seem to hate each other, so why would she not be there?
Right. I would want to see them interact. Even if I saw something I didn't like, I would want to know that versus letting her show up, me not being there, and her be like, well, they must not have a very strong relationship.
We don't even know if this was who he was with when he went into jail. I don't think we know that, at least not yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't think that would matter. But it's been so many years. What does it matter? Clearly, this woman moved on and she's got a different life now. What
Right.
does it matter?
And she's coming in between him and his daughter. Like she's becoming
Ugh.
how do you do that? How do you try to get in between a relationship with someone and their child?
Especially after he has not seen her in all those years. She basically became an adult with, oh gosh,
Right.
well, the whole time he was away. He says to her straight to her face, he said, "You're not ever going to become before my kids." And he goes, "And I'm not ever going to come before yours." That was a very adult statement.
It was. I did see like some of the prison come out in him though, like as aggressive as he started becoming. But I also understood exactly why. Like I understood why he felt the way he did and why he was, you know what I mean?
She was the one that started yelling. And then the cops were called. And for her now to start a public fight with a person who just got out of jail, who can't just go causing trouble and getting arrested again, she could have caused him to go back to jail.
Prison. Yes. Back to
Prison. Yeah.
prison. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's not nothing. Well, who is your MVP for this week?
I chose Mary because of the outfit and the shoes.
Impressive, and they were. I chose Lamar because of his reaction to her. Like, I would have been so much angrier, and
Well, he does say that's why people don't like you. I don't know if you caught that, but I was like, man, that's a burn.
he said that to Andrea.
He doesn't, yeah, he said that to her. Notice he does not swear at her, call her names, none of that. The worst he could come up with is that's why people don't like you.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. And we would like to thank all of our new listeners. We're so glad you're with us, and we hope you come back and follow along with us. If you would like to email us, you can find us at lalulockeddown@gmail.com. And that's about it for this week's episode. Listen every Wednesday wherever you find your podcasts.
In the meantime, don't fall in love.
And don't get locked up.
First date at Walmart, keeping it low. Told the clerk, don't judge me, I'm on parole. I brought roses, okay, 1 rose from a gas station. She said, oh babe, now that's validation. We be vibing in a halfway suite. Microwave dinners, romance elite. She my ride or die, she brought me a phone. Even snuck it in once, pre-release song. She hold me down like a key-o with charm. Except she don't mace me or twist my arm. We write vows in Sharpie on my court docs. Judge said no contact, but we beat the clocks. Love after lockup, cuffed and proud. Matching jumpsuits, now we rockin' the crowd. She said, don't mess up, I said, bet. Now we're TikTok stars with no regrets. So here's the love and second chance thrill. From a concrete bed to Netflix and chill. They said, don't catch feelings, but I caught a case of butterflies, girl, not just in one place. Ankle monitor beep. Oops, curfew gotta bounce.